Like I told y'all, man, at the top of the show, I had a chance to talk to somebody who I look at as a mentor, man. He goes by the name of Ernest Jackson, indie artist. If you're listening, man, like really block out all the background noise and just listen to this interview, man. He really was dropping some jewels, and he really has a lot of insight on how to navigate the music game of today versus, what we used to do. But anyway, man, this is my interview with Ernest Jackson.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Sky for the playlist on Twin Radio Syndicate. I got a dope interview in store for you guys, man, with a guy I really look up to, man. He does a lot of great things for independent artists and small business owners, small entrepreneurs in general, man. And you go by the name of Ernest Jackson, man. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm blessed to be here and to be able to just continue to do what I do, bro.
All right, man. How did you get your start in this PR business?
All right, that's a good question. I actually love the story. I initially, before PR, I was doing independent promotions for the record labels for, Rockefeller, Def Jam, Universal, all of them. And then, digital downloads came to play. They took away the opportunity for us to hand out CDs, do distribution of CDs and promotion like that. And so I knew I had to figure out another way to continue to be in the industry, but to be able to continue to make an impact. And so I kind of studied who made the decisions in the business. And when I wanted to get with a celebrity, who did I have to reach out to? And it was the publicist. And so I said, I need to figure out how to become one of those, because that will give me access that I truly need. And one day I was looking in a paper, and a senior publicist by the name of Trey Davenport was doing a press day in New York for the Dog Pound at the W Hotel. And she was looking for a junior publicist, and I was like, hey, I think I can do this. I've seen the road before. Let me try. And she gave me the opportunity. I came out there with a few of my friends to kind of support me in the role. And when we got there, it was a different, aura. Like, Roscoe, Karad, like they just brought the whole Dog Pound with them, the whole West Coast with them, 40 Glide, Cocaine, like everybody was there. And so it started getting a little crazy there with interviews all in one hotel room. And the way we handled it, Trey came to me and said, this is your lane. You belong here. And I enjoyed it so much at the end of it as well. Like, we had so much love from the Dog Pound at the end. After the press day was over, they just had a ball in the hotel room. And I just felt that aura, and I enjoyed it. And I said, this is what I want to do. And then from there, I just continued doing it.
Okay. I've watched you over the years. I've had the pleasure of being involved with a couple of events. I remember you brought Arthur, I think, to the Lower East Side, and then yeah, that was dope. And then one of my favorite media events you did, I think it was with I want to say, I know I'm gonna get it wrong, but is it Team
734.
There you go. There you go.
And here's the crazy thing about that, brother. When you did that, I had already been doing the publicist thing for years. And ironically, that Team 734 event was Trey Davenport, the same publicist who put me on, asking me to come out and help run her press day in New York for her. So even after all those years, we continued to work. She continued to bring me in. And that day was so amazing because you guys had no idea who they were initially before we pitched you. They were all the way in Detroit. They were doing their things out there. It was around the Flint water crisis. You guys asked some amazing questions. And when y'all came out with nothing but love. Like, the media has been such a strong part of what I do. The love that I've gotten from them over the years, the consistency, like, from people like you, like, that's what makes this work. Without you guys, it doesn't work, period.
Appreciate that. I guess I brought that event up, man, just because, like, I met some people there that, you know, I'm still in contact with, you know. You know what I'm saying? I remember it was a young lady who did the web series Cold World.
Brownie,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And we're in constant communication. What's the young lady, Priya? She's back doing her thing or whatever. And you know, just want to take a time. Unfortunately, man, I met a great young man who was doing this thing, and he went by the moniker Jason Bourne. I started to follow him on Facebook under the moniker Basquiat Mind. And, like, this was just, like, one of those guys. Like, what I saw in him, I saw in you. Like, it was just next level indie support. And it was just a joy to watch. And unfortunately, we lost him yesterday. And, you know, I don't want to bring solemnness to the interview, but we'd be remiss without just talking about him a little bit. Could you just talk about, like, just some of the things that you guys did together?
Okay, let me say how ironic it is that you're mentioning it, because 734, Young Ra is one of the main founder members of 734. He came back to me. Just last year he came back to me and said, "Hey, look, I got this deal going on with Sony Orchard. I'm getting ready to do a showcase. I want to do a showcase. We need a location. I got this situation with Cult of Individuality, the clothing brand. What can we do with that?" And, you know, obviously I always contact the publicist who I initially started with to make sure it's okay to work that project. And once I did and got clarity, we went in. And the first person I called to host that event was Jason Bourne. And he came out and he did such an amazing job. A lot of people had the chance to witness his hosting and things of that nature because they're around him often. But me living in a different state, I had the opportunity to watch him in spurts as he grew. So watching him do what he did that day, hosting the event, asking those questions, the right questions, just watching him grow it was such an amazing experience for me. I initially met him on Facebook. He followed me on Facebook, and one day I was at an event with a client. We had just shot a music video, and that night we went out to network at an event. I'm there at the event. This big guy walks up to me, taller than me, big, walks up to me like, "Hey, man, you Ernest Jackson, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yo, I follow you on Facebook, man. Like, I would love for you to mentor me. Like, I think what you do is amazing with the indie artists and so on and so forth." And it was humbling to me because no one had ever people have asked me to, pick my brain and mentor and so on and so forth. But to walk up to me as this towering young man, to walk up to me and say, "Hey, look, I'm humbled by meeting you. I would love for you to teach me some things." And I never stopped, never let up with him because I always continue to see his growth. he did something for the New York hip-hop culture that no one can ever take away. Like, he's gone now, and it's such a sad thing because there's so many lost souls at this moment, beyond even his family, who must be devastated right now. But there's so many souls in PR. There's so many souls in the industry. There's so many souls around Dyckman, where he lived and stayed. There's so many souls that he touched nationally, internationally, that to leave a legacy like that is just amazing. And he left an amazing legacy. And I'm grateful to have known him, to have watched him, to have guided him, and to watch the growth that he came to over the years through his own ability, not even mine or other people have mentored him as well. Terrell Blair, one of the premier concert promoters, event promoters in New York City. I grew up, with him in the entertainment business when we used to work with the record labels and stuff, and watched him progress into doing major events for young artists, for all artists, R&B, hip-hop, comedians, so on and so forth. And Jason got up under him as well and would host all of his events. And he had some of the best teachers, tutors, and even connections, people like you and so many others around New York, media outlets who stepped up for him when he called on them, and who he stepped up for when they called. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff is so rare in this business, so rare.
Yeah, man, and I just want to wrap it up about him. Is I had the pleasure to come out to one of his events at an event that he was actually hosting for someone else at Mist. And I remember just asking him, did y'all need media, this, that, and the other? So he just let me know that, he wasn't kind of in charge of the door. He led me to the person who was. So I was like, look, man, I ain't trying to get a pass or anything like that. I'll pay the cover. So the guy, knocked off 5 for me. And I came out, man, and he just made me feel so welcome, so appreciative.
Man. When he see you, even if he's seen you once or twice, when he sees you, he still makes you feel like, man, like you're a homie. Like, you feel good. If you don't know nobody else in that building, you feel good because he was right,
Yeah, he and he was always professional, man. And I remember, like, I was telling my wife, like, when I got the news yesterday on from Marty Bowser's page, and I knew that they were close, so I knew that it was the real thing. And I said, what upset me is that he was one of the few that was doing big things, but every time he had a new client, I got an inbox. Peace, King. You got any interview slots available? Like, he always, came through, and that meant more than like likes, shares, whatever. Because to me, that meant he respected like my brand, and he respected
platform. That's right.
My platform. So the fact that I was able to interview so many people just because they were clients of his, man, like that is what will stick with me. And, just like you said, man, Harlem, Dyckman, Uptown, like they really lost like a real one. And it's gonna, don't get me wrong, those who listening, I know somebody else is gonna come along and they might do showcases, but like it'll never have the multi-pronged, multi-faceted attack that he had.
Consistent action. Like, he was always consistent. He would never change up. If you knew a professional, if you knew a solid dude, he was one. Like, he would never switch up when you would never turn around and be like, damn, what happened to him? That wasn't him. He was always, I don't care how many times I've seen him, spoke to him, he was always consistent. And it's just sad, man. But it makes me also say I have to thank my media partners, the people who